So within these past few days, I have binge read Juujikanorukunin. Shout out to the Mask Man for the recommendation, by the way. And holy fuck, this is the darkest manga I have ever read. With Halloween coming up pretty soon and with horror and spookiness in the air, if you want something to read that fits in with all these things I just mentioned, please look no further. But as a warning, prepare to be sent on a roller coaster of emotion from chapter 1 going forward. You're not going to want to set this story down. So this manga isn't for the squeamish or faint of heart, as this story touches on so many dark elements of humanity that truly show how disgustingly evil a human being can become. So Juujikanorukunin is a revenge-based manga based around Shun Aruma, who has sick hair by the way, and within the origin of the story, it starts off with this monologue of him at an older age, discussing how this world is a muddied one. But one thing clear to him is that his family is good. They're good people, they love him, there is everything. We're then juxtaposed with Shun at age 12 getting bullied by a group of 5 kids, and I don't mean normal bullying by any means. I mean intense physical beating of our protagonist, and they threaten to end his life. Immediately off the bat, we have this kid who just loves his family being absolutely brutalized by some sadistic kids. And as a reader, you're like, no way it can get worse than this. They're only 12 years old after all, and this level of bullying is already pushing the extent of what many of us would find believable. And oh boy was I wrong. These group of 5 kids are cut from a different cloth, in fact, possibly from hell itself with how viciously evil these individuals are. The leader of this group is this girl named Kyo, and she brings Shun within an inch of dying while calling our protagonist Experiment A. They call him an experiment for such a sickening reason I'll get to momentarily. So after these bullies leave, we think we get a fresh of breath air. Nope. Immediately our protagonist tries to drown himself, but can't do it. But then bam, there's a cute kitten, brotherly love, and quality time with his family. Despite this roller coaster of emotion with bullying and self-harm, we are now in a loving household where our protagonist can now have some peace of mind and serenity. Again, I was as wrong as can be. These kids killed the newfound kitty. Mind you, this is still the opening chapter. As our protagonist navigates through the woods to try to find his cat, we run into Shun's grandpa who him and his brother are not allowed to visit much, but upon first sight he looks like a complete nutcase. We're also shown the motive of the leader of the group, Kyo. Kyo believes the most amazing thing someone can do is kill another person for no reason at all, and she wants to kill our protagonist indirectly by having Shun end his own life due to the torment from the bullying they give him. This is why Shun is known as Experiment A. They aim for Shun to be the first person they test this act of indirect murder upon. Let me just say, for this psychopath Kyo to believe she's at all original in her ideology and her psychosis, she should pick up a history book, a manga book, or any book at all and see how wrong that goes for individuals who pursue that path. So eventually Shun and his family switch schools and move away due to Shun's bullying, but things as you can expect thus far don't go as planned, and these kids devised and set up a plan to kill his parents and his brother. They have the family run off the roads and crash, leading to the parents' death and eventually the brother's permanent hospitalization and comatose state. This forces Shun to be without his immediate family, the only people he viewed in this world as good. And he goes to live with his grandfather who his family was estranged from, and Shun eventually reveals to his grandfather, who was a former member of the Katayama Corps in World War II, that he wanted to kill those 5 who killed his family. As a reader, you're like, why did he not tell the police about these kids? But no, the reason he didn't tell the police about these kids is because he wants the revenge himself and doesn't want anyone to stop him from killing these 5. So you'd expect an adult figure to try to stray Shun away from this vengeful thinking, but rather, his grandfather tells him that in his current state, that Shun would be guilt-ridden the rest of his life, and says a chilling statement of, where's the thrill in that? So contrary to the typical manga grandparent like Yuji Itadori's grandpa, who's like, save people, but Shun Iroma's grandparent is like, kill people, and thus we have our Dexter protagonist. So the grandfather is clearly a man with means to kill, and he now agrees to train our protagonist to give those bastards the suffering they deserve and Shun the ability to exact his revenge. This leads to a 4-year time skip in which Shun trains under his grandfather and becomes someone determined, a boy no longer drifting through the world, but rather the embodiment of his mission of vengeance. The author of Juujikanorukunin has now set up Shun to be the perfect revenge protagonist. He's made a cast of 5 bullies who are tantamount to evil. He gives Shun a great mentor within his war-hardened grandfather, and gives us a lovely time skip, all within the first chapter. A notable element of this manga is the art style being extremely fluid and expressive, particularly within the expressions of the bullies perfectly embodying the evil nature they possess. We can see the anguish Shun goes through. Every single emotion's plastered on his face, from despair and suicidal compulsion to immense determination, wrath, and conviction. The art is something you really have to go panel to panel from to really appreciate. It reminds me in fact of Tokyo Ghoul's art style, which is one of my favorite mangas of all time. If you are at all questioning the legitimacy of these antagonists, These bullies, as we see throughout this story, are far from the typical evil. They are the most extreme and hyperbolic personifications of evil you can imagine, and there are panels within this manga that made me genuinely sick to my stomach due to the suffering they inflict upon helpless victims and truly the edgy and triggering type of events that take place within this story. It truly evokes such visceral emotion as a reader, which is a testament to this mangaka. Often the portrayal of the depths of human darkness is limited within storytelling, but Juujikanorokunin does not hold back, even remotely. Humankind has such a propensity for the extremities of all emotion, a dichotomy of love and hate. Our protagonist isn't an ultimate good, he's someone who is aiming to eradicate the filth who plagued and corrupted both the world and his life. What makes a character interesting to me is the recognizable human qualities we can find within them. I think to all of us we can recognize the immense and brutal insatiable desire for revenge if we were to even fathom going through something remotely equivocal. Shun's story is dark, gruesome, and methodical, but a story that needs to be told. This manga is absolutely brilliant and you truly get lost within the world of Juujikanorokunin, but do not expect this to ever be animated. This is far too gruesome and dark for an animation studio to likely pick up, and I think it's better that way. Read this story and come back and let me know what you thought of it, but please, for the love of God, do not bill me any of the therapist visits you'll need after you finish. If you enjoyed this type of video and want to see more like it, please let me know in the comment section below, and if you're not already, please subscribe. As always, guys, be greedier, and I will catch you all next time.